So in terms of messages from people with learning disabilities for support workers, was to try and learn new strategies for distraction. We found that people actually were trying and using many different methods on their own to try and not get to the point where they would self-injure. We were staggered by how many personal strategies people had to try and not self-injure. So that's a really good starting point to try and see what people are doing for themselves already. As I mentioned, to think about communication and set aside time in order to do that. People also wanted help to understand their emotions. Their emotions were very confusing, but very strong. So that work in terms of emotional literacy to try and break down what emotions felt and how people could learn to express those emotions in other and more safe ways. People also spoke about wanting access to support when they needed it rather than it being at an allotted time. So having that open door policy, I know is very difficult in a practical day-to-day aspect, but also to recognise just how valuable it is for people when they do want to be able to access support. And then the last thing was recognising the importance of peer support as well. People often thought they were the only people who self-injured. They didn't realise that actually it was a quite common issue that people use to deal with their emotional distress. So, you know, to recognise that you know, there are other people out there and maybe to try and set up, you know, some kind of peer support.